Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Road to Champion. If you haven't seen an episode before, this is a series where each episode we try a different way of ranking up and see how it affects my gameplay and rank, with our ultimate goal being that of getting to Champion in twos. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, you can find them all on my channel. The link to the playlist is in the description. In the previous episodes, we had a bit of a training arc since all we did was play once in order to answer the question whether it's worth it to play 1v1s if you want to rank up in duos or trios, which we'll be answering today. So if you haven't seen the video, I highly recommend at least watching that one. That way this video is going to make much more sense. Now, I will be spending 5 days just playing 2v2, the game mode where I want to reach champion and see if all that training was worth it. Without any further ado, let's get into it. I was in big anticipation on day 1 since I spent all this time playing 1, so I was looking forward to how all this training would translate to my gameplay in 2s. So far though, it unfortunately hasn't been too positive. You see, I completely forgot what it's like to play with someone on your team. I don't know what happened in that week of me not playing 2s, but playing with fellow diamonds has never felt this painful. This might just be because I expected different skills after playing against all of those skillful opponents in 1v1, but it's still quite frustrating. Since this is often the case, I a lot of the time feel like it's my job to carry the game, but that doesn't always go well. You see, even here in Diamond, most players ball chase, which means that whenever I try to put the game on my shoulders, I often got in the way of my teammate and he got in my way too. The thing is that after all of those once games, it's difficult just rotating properly and watching your teammate chase the ball for most of the game while you do nothing and just stay back. But unfortunately, that is probably the best way to win games even here in Diamond. I didn't do this at all on this day and I became what I feared the most, a ball chaser, which also showed in the results. You see, my speed and precision probably increased after the week of once, but there have been so many things that decreased because of it as well. So far, after day 1, it's hard for me to say playing once is optimal if you want to get better in duos or trios. Overall, we played a total of 16 games, going 6 and 10, dropping down 2 divisions. Not the best start. On day 2, I finally started getting used to the playstyle in 2s again. I think that you can genuinely win a lot of games even if your teammate isn't the best, just as long as you rotate properly. Also, I don't know what happened, but everyone's mechanics just seem way better now. Everyone's just going for flip resets and air dribbles right now. I see it in almost like every game, and that wasn't happening before. I wish I could say the same about game sense, but yeah, that's still quite bad. You see, I've been in Diamond for a very long time, but I feel like I've gotten much better ever since I got here in 2021. It personally seems to me that the player base keeps getting more skilled, and what was before Champion might now be Diamond. Let me know if you guys agree with this or see it a different way, cause that's what it looks like to me. Also, I think I'm starting to feel the effect of playing wands finally, mainly in challenges. I think that I'm genuinely better at them than before, at least in the timing of them and the following recovery after them. Surprisingly though, another area where I feel I improved a lot also is defending. I'm averaging a lot more saves than before. I mostly make a lot less mistakes and just overall feel more solid in the net, and I hope it stays that way. We played a total of 16 games, going 9 and 7, which isn't insanely good or anything, but it's a start. Mainly I'm starting to feel pretty good about my gameplay again. Day 3 thankfully continued in the same light and my gameplay kept on being decent. When I think about my game style, I think I'm pretty well rounded. That being said, I feel like I lack something that can help me completely win a game on my own. If there's anything I'm better at than other diamonds, it's probably defending. But the problem is that defending won't help me score more goals. I feel like there's a final piece missing that could help me carry a game completely by myself, and I'm not quite sure what that is. I also want to ask you guys for some advice. You see, when I was doing my settings many years ago, I only did the camera settings and completely missed that there was something like controller settings. So when I looked at them recently, I realized that they were set to the basic settings you started when you first download the game. Now, with the camera settings, I just copied the random pro settings and called it a day. But I'm not sure that's the right idea with these ones, so I wanted to ask for your guys' help. Do you think that I should immediately change them, or is it cool if I just keep them this way? Also, what settings do you play with? Let me know in the comments. Thanks. At the end of the day, we played a total of 16 games, going 9 and 7, moving up another division. I'm happy that things are finally looking up after the first day. You know, it's sort of crazy the variety of teammates and opponents that you can get in Diamond. Like one game you can be playing against someone who is able to do something like this, and the next game someone who does this. I think Diamond, alongside with Platinum possibly, is probably the most diverse rank when it comes to Rocket League. Cause in like Champion and above, chances are you're gonna be playing against players who are good at the game, and in Gold and below, the opposite. But here you can get both sides of the spectrum. You'll get people who score crazy goals, and people who can't even do basic saves. This sort of reinforces the idea that I've had for a while, which is that a lot of Rocket League is reliant on luck when it comes to matchmaking, at least if you're solo queuing. You yourself can be doing great, but if you get a bad teammate and on top of that the enemy team is also really good, you're most likely going to struggle. And yes, you could argue that if you want to rank up, you should be able to carry a game completely on your own. And that is true to an extent, but it's rather difficult to carry a game both offensively and defensively at the same time. If your team is already behind, you're gonna have to start attacking, which is gonna leave plenty of opportunities for the enemy team when it comes to counterattacks. Or let's say you're leading. It's easy to mess up in defending, even if you're good at defending yourself. The hardest part about defending in duos or trios is anticipating your teammate, which if you're solo queuing like me is quite hard. I sort of realized when I was playing once that it's so much easier when it's just you and the opponent. But when your teammate is there as well, it's hard to read their mind because you never know what they're going to do. Anyway, sorry about this little rant, I just felt like it was important to mention. Anyway, on day 4, we played a total of 16 games going 8-8, staying in the same division. I'm going to be honest, day 5 was very frustrating. Not frustrating in the sense that I was playing badly, I think my gameplay has been in the same decent level ever since day 2. Instead, frustrating just because I couldn't get the results I wanted. I think we've all had those periods where you feel like you're playing good, but no matter what you do in a certain game, you just can't get the win. Whether you just keep hitting the post or your teammate just isn't doing that well, nothing seems to be going your way in those moments. I've had plenty of games on this day that were very close, or even went to overtime, but most of them just unfortunately didn't go the way I wanted them to. It's funny because I've previously had periods where I felt like I was playing badly, but I was somehow able to win a lot of games. Now the roles have reversed. As infuriating as it is, I think it's still better to play well and lose rather than play badly and win, at least in the long run. As I said in the previous day, a lot of the times in Rocket League, the result of the match is a roll of the dice that determines what teammates you'll get and who you'll be playing against. But the better you are, the better the chances of you winning even if the odds are stacked against you. That being said, from the looks of it, I'm not yet good enough to completely offset the roll of the dice. At the end of day 5, we played a total of 15 games going 6-9, dropping down to Division 3. Overall, we played a grand total of 79 games, winning 38 and losing 41. This is actually the first time that we are in a lower position than when the episode started. I knew that this would happen eventually since progress is never linear, but it's still a bit annoying. Now, let's answer the big question that this video is all about. Was it worth it playing all of those 1v1 games? In honesty, probably not. Sure, my gameplay is probably a bit faster and more precise than before, but when I compare it to the other things I've done in order to rank up, it just simply doesn't make sense to play once. The biggest problem with 1v1s is that they are completely different to duos or trios. They make you forget how to correctly play with your teammates, which can be a death sentence when it comes to ranking up. If you were wondering whether it's a good idea to play once in order to rank up in other game modes, I'd honestly say no. Obviously, a game of 1v1 every once in a while isn't going to hurt, but I would preferably stick to the game mode where you're trying to get better and rank up, and just practice mechanics and skills that can help you with that. Anywho, that's about everything for this video. I know it's a little bit disappointing that all of those games didn't lead to any amazing results, but I'm just being honest here with you, since the whole point of this series is to find the best way to rank up. So thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video then please consider liking and subscribing, it would mean a lot to me. The support on these videos has been amazing, so I just wanted to say thanks for that. I will see you all next week. Bye!